What was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question, right?
So, what's going on? Nikki Haley, a former governor of South Carolina and a potential presidential candidate, was asked a very simple question. What was the cause of the United States Civil War? And she just couldn't answer it. It's such a hard question, she insists.
Well, don't come with an easy question, right?
Now, if a left-wing politician failed to answer such a simple question as this, Michael Knowles would have a field day. But because he likes Nikki, he goes all simp style.
Now, things are looking good for Nikki Haley. She did get in a little bit of trouble over the break. She was asked a question on the Civil War, of all things, on the campaign trail, and she was criticized for her answer.
What was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run.
Oh, what a fascinatingly vague answer. Who can really say, Nikki insists. It's just those mysterious governmental things happening in their complex governmental lair. You know what? I think we found the ultimate non-answer for politicians. Why did the economy take a nosedive in 2022? Oh, let me just hand-wave that away and say, you know, it was the usual government things, much complex, many nuanced, nothing in particular.
The freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause of the Civil War was? I'm sorry?
I'm not running for president. I wanted to see your view on the cause of the Civil War.
I mean, I think it always comes down to the role of government.
Good point, Nikki. Whether slavery was the primary contention or not, the real meta answer is the government.
We need to have capitalism. We need to have economic freedom. We need to make sure that we do all things so that individuals have the liberties so that they can have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do or be anything they want to be without government getting in the way.
What the... Did I just stumble into some alternative universe? The question was, what caused the Civil War? And Nikki's answer is, we need capitalism.
We need to have capitalism.
Sorry, I didn't realise this was a game of topic hopscotch. How's she going to answer the next question about the weather? Oh, that's an easy one. We need more investment in fine art.
Thank you. And in the year 2023, it's astonishing to me that you answer that question without mentioning the word slavery.
What do you want me to say about slavery?
No, you've answered my question. Thank you.
As said earlier, if a lefty tiptoed like this, Michael would be throwing a party with confetti and all. But in the land of double standards, we're gonna witness Michael project sunshine and rainbows onto Nikki's refusal to say the word slavery.
Obviously, this questioner here is trying to trip up Nikki Haley. I don't know if it's a Democrat plant. Probably it is. It could be a plant from one of the other Republican campaigns. Or I guess it could be just a person who doesn't like Nikki Haley very much.
Or maybe, just maybe, the questioner could be trying to illustrate the point that Nikki, as a potential president, is unable to simply say that slavery was the chief contention of the Civil War. Instead, she has to protect her snowflake constituents by saying it was government stuff. We need capitalism.
We need to have capitalism.
Michael, in his infinite charitability and wisdom, is quick to label the questioner as a bad faith actor, but Nikki's evasion is the neon sign highlighting the exact point that our intrepid questioner was trying to make. And you know what? The questioner might be a Republican. In fact, if I was a Republican, I would be worried about voting for Republicans who endorse pseudo-history. I'd view it like a virus.
What's astonishing about the question and the answer is it's not the question and it's not the answer. It's the apparent belief on the part of the questioner, and maybe on the part of Nikki Haley, that slavery is a wedge issue in the Republican Party. That's what this is about.
No, it's more accurately history. It's the history of slavery in the United States. And the fact that Nikki didn't simply say that slavery was the primary cause perfectly illustrates this fact.
The questioner asks the question because he thinks that any way Nikki Haley answers is going to alienate some of her voters.
How on earth does Michael have this inside knowledge? Is he a mind reader now? Why can't it be that the questioner is looking for, I don't know, a straight answer? You know, to make sure that they're not voting for someone who treats facts like a buffet. And here's a wild thought. Couldn't Nikki have played it cool and appeased the crowd? Could she not have said that there was a lot of issues, including state autonomy, with slavery being the core contention? Is this so hard to say without causing a meltdown? Because if this is too hot to handle, then yes, we're looking at a major wedge issue.
If she says that the Civil War is about states' rights, then she's going to alienate voters who are anti-slavery. You know, that the anti-slavery faction of the Republican Party. But that if she says that the Civil War was about slavery, she's going to alienate that huge pro-slavery portion of the Republican Party. And so, we've got a great wedge issue here. Not surprised that Democrats think that. They think all sorts of nasty things about Republicans that aren't true.
You know what? I've got a question of my own. Is Michael really this dense? Does he actually think that this was what the questioner was trying to achieve? What an incredible straw man. The wedge issue isn't that Republicans are split on whether or not they are for or against slavery. No, the split is about what role slavery played in the Civil War. That is the wedge issue, and it's why, I would wager, many Republican voters are much less likely to want to discuss past issues of slavery and racism. But Michael knows this. He isn't that dense. As I told you, he is simping hard, dancing with pom-poms, singing, "Go, Nikki, ignore history."
Nikki appears to think that there's some portion of Republicans who don't want to hear about slavery.
Yeah, because she's probably read the polls.
Now, I actually think that her answer was almost fine. Everyone was saying it's catastrophic, it's the end of her career, it's the worst answer. I think the answer was basically fine, because the true answer to what was the Civil War about is, yeah, it was about all those things.
Right. So the answer to the question of what caused the Civil War is it was about all those government things.
Yeah, it was about all those things.
Brilliant. Almost as vague as Nikki. Well done, Michael. Next, we'll be solving the mysteries of the universe with a nice big shrug and saying, space stuff and that.
It was about the political power of the South in the federal government.
Yes, and the main contention was that the South wanted slaves and the North didn't. The maps don't lie, do they? The southern states, with their agricultural economies, relied heavily on slavery for their plantation system, whereas the northern states were more industrialized, more capitalized, if you will, and so they had largely abolished slavery. Bo, from the channel The Roads with Bo, recently commented on this precise matter, and his radical view is that the United States should teach the founding documents of the Confederacy, as this way it would become overtly obvious that there is no debate here. I've left a link below to his video, which I highly recommend you check out, but I'll play him reading just one of the state's position.
The people of Georgia, having dissolved their political connection with the government of the United States of America, present to their Confederates and the world the causes which have led to this separation. For the last 10 years, we have had numerous and serious causes of complaint against our non-slave holding Confederate states, with reference to the subject of African slavery. Paragraph 1.
Yeah, you see? It's not really that hard of a question, is it, Nikki?
Abraham Lincoln was able to win the presidency without the South.
Yes, Abraham Lincoln's victory was achieved entirely through support from northern states. And why? Was it because, I don't know, a little thing called slavery? Nah, let's not get caught up in the details. It was all about those mysterious government things.
Meaning the South no longer had much of a say at all in the federal government, which might be reason enough if you think of the South as a distinct political entity, totally distinct from the North, might be reason enough to impel you to secede.
And what was the biggest thing the South wanted its own way? I'll give you a clue. It's endorsed in the Bible.
40, 100, 150 lashes. That's scripture.
And also, what was the hottest issue of the time that had taken over the country, that had dictated so much of the politics of westward expansion? It was slavery, no question about that.
Oh, thank the gods. Finally, we're getting there. Just, why have you got to go around the bush like this? Is it a wedge issue or something? Can't you just... You worried about offending your audience, Michael? Can you not just say it?
So, yeah, it was both of those things. And furthermore, I don't think that there are very many pro-slavery Republicans. I don't think there are any, actually.
And neither does anyone else. The fact that Michael took this to be the wedge issue is truly fascinating.